We'll get some of that going. There we go. Start our backup recording. Awesome. All right, welcome everybody to the Tuesday evening screencast video coaching call. My name is Lon Naylor. I'll be your host. We'll be hanging out tonight. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and jump into something real quick. My topic for tonight is going to be, I call it my mid-year review of tools. I, throughout the year, of course, purchase or acquire pretty much all the video tools and resources that I can lay my little hands on so that I can evaluate them for you guys and or recommend them or not recommend them, which kind of goes either way a lot of times. So a couple times a year I like to put together just a real quick synopsis of the top 3 kinds of video tools that I find and that I actually like. And I base these on just some short and sweet criteria. One is that they have to represent a pretty darn big value in terms of what you get, what you can use them for, and what they cost. And then, of course, some of the ancillary stuff like is there good tutorials and good support. And almost all of the ones that I end up recommending are from people that I know and I trust. I know the developers. I'm just going to nail these out real quick. Top 3 video resources. We'll jump out. I'm going to take a look and just give you, the links and stuff like that. All right, so the winners in third place is a set of PowerPoint video templates called the Majestic Templates version 2. I'll show you what those are. Also, one that was fairly recent called the Comics Graphics Kit. And then my biggest winner so far, and actually this one came out at the bitter end of last year, but it's just such a powerhouse, I had to kind of put it on top here. Let's jump out and I'll just run these down real quick for you. So let me open up the chat box and let's get some links and stuff. The good news is that for, I think, all of these, I have included some extra value stuff like tutorials that I put together and some freebies. I mentioned before that I know a lot of these developers, and it's one of the reasons why I like to work with them. Very often I'll get an eval copy, or even better, start to review their stuff during their development process. And the ones that I really tend to like to work with listen to what I tell them. And this is kind of a good example. Nelson Long over at Super Good Products really puts out some fantastic stuff. His PowerPoint templates are easy to modify and really add a lot of value. So let me put this one in the chat box first of all. And this is basically how I kind of tend to add value. You can check out the full package here, but the sweet part is that I always get these guys to give me something for free that I then use to do my review and tutorial. I actually show people how to use the stuff. And this is a great tip. Obviously, this is kind of in the realm of affiliate marketing, but what I'm doing here is I'm using video and adding that value in terms of video. What you'll end up seeing with a lot of promotions, and check your inbox, I'll bet there's like 5 or 6 of them today that are the canned emails that come as what are called swipe files from the product developers. Anytime you can show someone how to use something, how to consume a product successfully, then not only do you tend to make more sales, but you also lend an air of authentication, of being a peer instead of a product pusher, of understanding what people have to go through to actually use a product successfully, and you're much more likely to be trusted person, again, as opposed to a pure product pusher. So I just kind of wanted to throw that tip out there. It's something that I do constantly. And I have the leaderboard stats on a lot of these promotions and stuff to prove that it works. It's a good thing to do. So a lot of times this takes the form of a blog post like this, here's my tutorial on how to modify it, and you can then click here and download the free template. I'll also cover any other things that might make a difference and stuff like that. Again, these templates are pretty darn sweet. Almost anything from Nelson at Super Good Products is pretty spectacular, so peruse this at your leisure. Let's just jump down to the bottom real quick, and we'll see that as far as my criteria goes, you get a lot of stuff. They're very useful to use, and I think this started off at like 17 bucks, but even after, a few months, it's still 25 bucks. So that kind of meets my criteria there. Okay, so let's see, our second place winner, I'll go ahead and put a link to that in the chat box. Second place is comic book style graphics, and I think this is called the comic graphics kit. One thing I almost always like to add to my library are things that can really be eye-catching and also serve a purpose that is fairly well known in the video world. It's called that of a pattern interrupt. How many of you know what a pattern interrupt is? I know a lot of you do. Here's kind of the thing, is that as people are maybe watching our videos, especially true for sales and marketing videos, they're watching, and what happens is psychologically their brain starts to wander, in the sense that it's, well, okay, I kind of got it. I got this. I get it. And it's just, they're just watching. So a pattern interrupt is something that we kind of throw in their face that they just completely do not expect. I do this a lot with sound effects, which can also have that effect of kind of yanking the rug out from under their know-it-all brain as they're watching our video, and then kind of snap the attention back. So these are neat. If you watch the old Batman shows and stuff like that, there's just all these different comic kinds of elements. And of course, here I've scored some freebies for you. And again, I know the developers, Narajan is pretty good, and we worked before the release of this product to make sure that the MOV versions were created properly to work in Camtasia 9 and higher. So they work in Camtasia 9 and 2018. They were going to just ship them, in normal fashion where they won't work. So I said, dude, that's just no good. So what ends up happening is they go in and they re-encode them so that they'll work properly, and that's just one of the benefits of developing a relationship with your vendors. So again, kind of another affiliate marketing tip is pick the people and the stuff that you really like. Reach out to those folks. More often than not, if you can, over time, show that you can bring some sales and bring a little bit of heat, you start to what? You start to get noticed. When you submit just some feedback and are honest about it and can show them, with using your expertise or your experience, how to add value, then over time, again, they will come to very much appreciate that, and you'll become like some of their go-to folks. So whatever it is that you might promote or recommend, make sure you're reaching out to the folks that provide it, trying to develop relationships not just with your prospects and customers, but with the vendors and folks that create the products. Okay, so these are nice, and like I say, they've been completely reworked to work in Camtasia. Here's another kind of bonus as far as the value goes. A lot of times products like this, bundles of assets, if you want the developer license, which means that you can use these things in videos that you create for clients, a lot of times you have to buy the upsell, right? No, don't have to do that here. So this is a big tick in the value added area. I actually like these so much I let him put a testimonial on the sales page, so that's cool. And again, you can check all these out kind of at your convenience. There's lots of interesting stuff here, and this will kind of give you a little bit of an idea. There are static images, there are animated images, both both MOV and GIF files, so and Swift, so they work in pretty much anything you have, including PowerPoint, Explain.io, any other stuff like that. I like them. And these aren't as good a price value as they were during the launch, but again, since you get developer rights, they're just so interesting that I felt that they're still a pretty excellent value at $47. Let's see, and then let's go back to our number one pick, Motion Clip Arts. And there's just like a holy ton of stuff here, which is pretty sweet. But these are interesting. And like I say, there's just so many of them that you can almost always find a use in some kind of presentation, either in Camtasia or in PowerPoint. And in fact, it's because of assets like this that a lot of times anymore, I can create really good visual presentations that I used to do in PowerPoint right in Camtasia. But here's the deal. Developer rights, $27 for just what's the technical term? A buttload of really interesting things that work in Camtasia 9. Okay? All right.